to record the great Luke Kelly. I mean, there are many recordings, obviously, of Luke Kelly, but one in particular that you recorded, and the song is called "This Sun Is Burning in the Sky." Just tell us a little bit about that occasion.
Afternoon, sitting up on top of the bar down in a pub in Clare. I remember the Corries had come over from Scotland. They were later to become a very famous Scottish group, and they had heard the Clancy brothers on record, and they came over to meet us. And Archie Fisher, who later on would produce our record. And they're all in there, you know, singing along, and Luke is tuning up. And I had just given Luke a banjo in return for songs. And it's the banjo he played until the day he died, actually. It was an old Merlin metal banjo that I bought out in Chicago.
Okay, let's hear "This Sun Is Burning in the Sky" by Luke Kelly, as recorded by Liam Clancy.
The sun is burning in the sky. Strands of cloud are slowly drifting by. In the park, the busy bees are droning in the flowers among the trees. And the sun is in the sky. Now the sun is in the west. Little kids lay down to take their rest, and the couples in the park are holding hands and waiting for the dark. And the sun is in the west.
Now, you are in the show that you're going to be doing in Balik and elsewhere around the country. You're actually performing an oration that you wrote at the invitation of Luke Kelly's brother Jimmy. Tell us something about that.
Well, every year they have a commemoration up in Glasnevin at Luke's grave. And a couple of years back there, Jimmy asked me if I'd give an oration at the grave. Unfortunately, I was going to be on tour at the time, so I wrote a piece for him to recite. I didn't get a chance at that point, so I thought at some stage I should let people hear it. And here it is. Luke, how glad I am that our paths crossed in that brief window of consciousness that is given to us between the two great mysteries. You came into my life through a window, the men's room window in the Central Hotel at the Fla in Milltown, Malbay, back in 1964. They wouldn't let you in the front door because they said it was after hours and you weren't a resident, but it was really because they didn't want a Dublin Jack Ian upsetting their session. Willie Clancy was there in the parlour, and Jimmy Ward, and the great Seamus Ennis, who shares this piece of ground with you now forever. You startled us all that night when you sang. You were no self-effacing rustic waiting to be coaxed to sing soft, sad love songs. You were as strident as a street in Cricklewood, as brash as a Dublin hackney driver, and you took delight in what you sang. Joy and anger mixed in a powerful blend, that was your hallmark, then as always. Love in the act of singing, anger in the words that spoke of injustice. You came from the mould of the great communists who knew that it was right to rail at the tyranny of class and privilege. Look at us now, here in this cemetery, Luke, a small huddle of the living amidst a vast throng of the generations that have marched through before us, and coming fast behind the generations waiting to be born. So what signifies, Luke? What signifies is that you fulfilled your destiny, that you did not stint in the giving of the talent that was uniquely yours. Had you been a blade of grass, you would have been very green and very tall and very pointed, because all things must be what they are to their fullness. Since we laid you down here, how many years ago? You have been joined in the long silence by so many of those we knew, by Kieran Burke and Seamus Ennis and Joe Heaney and Willie Clancy, and by my own brothers Tom, Paddy, Bobby. But are ye really silenced? No, no, and never will be. It's all preserved, isn't it, in reality as well as in memory. And when, in the future, there are those who want to hear not the froth of fashion in the pop song of the month, but the timeless vision of the true story told, they will listen to you. There are such. And even though we understand all this with our heads, we still lament that you will, as the song says, no, never, never no more will you play the wild rover. No, never no more.
With apologies for that brief incursion from another studio. That was Lukey, Liam Clancy's oration for Luke Kelly, with Paul Grant on guitar. And Liam Clancy performs at Beleak in Fermanagh as part of the Beleak Fiddlestone Arts and Cultural Festival this Sunday.